Hurting hearts need some healing. Take my hand with your clever love. And started recording. Today's cold opening. Maude spies on Ralph Tonks, the ratter, who has started dating Sarah Wiggum after he broke up from Maude after 2 dates. Maude is insanely jealous of this scene of them building a rope swing and ratting by the river. And she calls her cousin, Mercia, no, Mercia is the mum, Madge Tinker Turnbull. Of course, it's the 1960s, so she has to go home to call. So do you want to be Maude, Ralph, Sarah, or Madge?
Sarah and Maude.
Sarah and Maude. But how? Yes. But I ask, how will you differentiate the voices when they're almost next to each other without obviously stating their name every time?
It's a surprise.
Some healing. Take my hand with your clever love. Okay, and splash. Oh, pass me that rope, Sarah. This is the most fun I think I've ever had in my life on a date.
Here you go, Ralph. This is a great time. I love ratting and I love rope swings.
And should I say I love you? No, not yet. It's too early. I love ratting too. Let's build a rope swing and let's swing together. Woo, across this river. Oh, there's a rat. I've seen one.
Wow, let's giggle at it. I'm Maude in the trees. You can't hear me. I'm talking to myself. What are they doing together? That's Ralph and Sarah, my cousin. This isn't on. I'm livid.
This is the most fun I've had on a date ever. Sarah, I went on a date with your cousin twice. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, Ralph.
She was so square, like a rectangle with all the sides the same length.
Oh yeah, she is. She's a loser sometimes.
Oh, that's harsh. Oh, I've got the rat here. Come on, quick. Open the bag. Let's put him in.
Let's keep it.
Oh, rat's moving everywhere. Let's keep him as a pet.
Yes, let's do that. And I'll love him forever.
Your cousin running away down the street, crying.
Yes, that's our Maude. What's she doing? I'm at home now and I'm angry, so I'm gonna ring.
Hello?
Madge.
Yes?
It's Maude.
Oh, Maude. Do you have that pound you owe me?
No, you will. I don't have the time for that. I'm really upset.
Do you want to hear about my new dress?
No.
It's got pink roses on it.
Nice.
I got it from Primark.
Primark?
From my mum. My mum loves me.
Oh, I see. That's great.
I've got to go now.
I haven't told you why I rang.
Go on.
Ralph Tonks is dating Sarah Wiggum. No,
yes,
Sarah.
I know. They look like they're having a great time together down by the river. I saw them building a rope swing and putting a rat into a bag.
Yeah, me too. It's upsetting me.
I have to go now. Bye.
Help. Madge.
It's a Maude Good cast. Season 4. Teacher, possibly, but not a watercolor master. She's a volunteer vaccine administrator and an unflavored ice milk drinker. No wintergreen. Member of the Moral Caucus. She's Maggie Roswell's greatest moment. Comeback. Spooky cookie mum to rotten Todd mid-wipe by Homer. Spoiler! The Lord is your judge. Modcast. Season 4. Episode 6. Count 'em. Who would have believed it?
Who would have thought?
Not me.
We're in the post-bongo. The back half of the season.
We are. All the way home from here. So hello. Goodman morning, and Marge's neighbour clum. Don't nosh on a specific amount of bovine hombre. Brought to you by Jeff Apple Sunderland, including the islands of Borneo, Sumatra, and Java. Away the lads. And the Maude-Casting Corporation, formerly a division of Ross Dibney's Multiplying Conger Eels and Stampnet. Rest in peace. Sponsors, Sepco, for all your septic bites. Sponsors, Margaret Lanterman and Phil Coulson, aka the Log Lady of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sponsor, Vivacious and Nando's with their curry and Baloo eggs. Sponsors, Cerebus the Architect and Tepco, secretly poisoning you for over a decade. What are you going to say about that?
Great. It's a pace grower. That girl band from the 90s, that Vanilla.
No way, no way.
And the guy who coughed in the audience if he wants to be a millionaire.
Oh yeah. I don't know this reference. You've made it twice now, but how about flipping that switch on Jackie the pen editor and see what he's got to say today?
Yeah.
Flick that switch. Now we've got an electric Ouija board.
Oh, hello. Oh, I'm waking from my slumber. Would you like me to tell you more about my life?
Hi, Jacques. Yeah.
Good. I completed my master's degree in philosophy in 1954, and then I passed the highly competitive Agregation exam in 1956. I spent a year at Harvard University reading James Joyce's Ulysses. Have you read it? It's great. In June 57, I married the psychoanalyst Marguerite Alcotier in Boston. During the Algerian War of Independence, I taught French and English to the soldiers' children in lieu of my military service. Viva la pacifista.
Good. It's sounding very good. I'm excited
you have a
to.
Master's degree from Harvard.
Yeah.
It's all in the mind, isn't it? That's what I'd say. University of the People, University of Hard Knocks.
Yes. Quote.
Sign, linguistic or non-linguistic, spoken or written, as a small or large unity, can be cited and put between quotation marks. Verb by it can break with every given context and engender infinitely new contexts in an absolutely non-saturable fashion. This is one of my funniest ones, where this does not suppose that the mark is valid outside its context, but on the contrary, there are only contexts without any center of absolute anchoring. This citationality, duplication, or duplicity, this iterability of the mark is not an accident or an anomaly, but is that which without a mark could no longer even have a so-called normal functioning. What would a mark be that one could not cite and whose origin could not be lost on the way?
That was a funny one. That was basically just stand-up. I followed it for about 30 seconds and then it all went. It was just noise.
That's what I was aiming for. I'm beyond philosophy and into just sound art. What I'm saying here, Nathan, I think, is that everything has a context in and of itself. Everything is both between and outside the quotation marks.
Yes, I would agree, because you can apply context to anything and change its meaning with that.
So, for example, if you killed your Maude and then 20 odd years later you undid all of her actions by giving her a new story,
would that count?
Would that count?
I think so. I think it's still Maude. It's still recognizable as Maude, the sign of Maude. See, that's her within the quotation marks. And outside of it, we have new context for Maude. So it is sort of like a new layer in the onion that is Maude Flanders Goodman.
Click.
But
I turned him off. Let's see how he deals with that.
Yeah, just cut him off. Ghost him.
I just turned him off. Yeah, exactly. Give me a number between 1 and 350.
Wow. 279.
279, a favourite. This is Paltrow again. 279. Post-death, sugar relaxation, Slurpee, Maude judgment.
Okay. Post-death, we find out. I don't know what Slurpee is, so I'm going to substitute that for Squish.
Oh, is that
Squish.
it? Squishy is the Simpsons version, but a Slurpee is the real world. Is that not right?
Slush puppy.
Slush puppy.
Slushy.
That's in England, isn't it?
Yes.
Post-death, sugar relaxation Slurpee, Maude judgment.
That was it. Apu does mention at her wake that she has a lot of frequent squishy points. So she obviously has an interest in them, but that doesn't mean that they aren't sugar-free, as all the slush-based drinks that are available in my area are 0 sugar. So
What?
perhaps...
Do you sell any sugar-free Slurpees?
Yes, we sell 4 different kinds.
The blue one,
The blue one and the red one, and then a tango.
a Tango Slurpee, a Tango Slush.
Yes, and as Maude would say, no sugar.
Oh, bloody hell, give us a slush, mix orange and blue together. You know that's going to make it brown. Just give me a bloody slush.
Exactly.
Is that what they do? This is a reference, I believe, to the Bongo Cast where the kids are drinking Slurpees or slushies. And the question is, would Maude be judging Ned giving his children these slushies after her death?
No, I think she's used to it. She must have an inkling, because Ned's given Todd, like, cartoon devil sweets before. And we've seen a couple of examples now of them eating sugar, I think. Oh, yeah. Well, the s'mores last week, for example, is very sugar-based. So that was they were both breaking the rules there. So I think I would think she was mostly saying no sugar just to get one over on Marge and Lisa. I think she's probably less strict when it's just the Flanders family.
That makes sense, but that does put paid to the Todd diabetes theory.
If you had to say which showed Maude less respect, giving the boys a Slurpee or marrying Ed the Crabapple, I would probably go for the latter.
Really? Because I think, she never, surely she wouldn't expect Ned to just live a solitary life for the rest of his life. He's still, he's got many years on the clock yet.
I don't know. I think she would.
Maybe she would. Oh, hold on. Jeff Apple, before he went off to do his shopping, he said that we have to check in with the monkey foreman because you remember he's hired 1,238 monkeys to start rebuilding the Maude Flanders Museum and databases around the world. He left the number here of Arthur Monkey and the Big Boy Banana, who I believe are the two foremen of these different sites. And he would like you to give them a ring just to check how they're doing.
Like me to give them a ring?
Yeah, he wants you to give him a ring. Here's the number. 08,
oh, yeah.
0800 555. Oh, yeah.
Ring, 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 ring.
Hello.
Is this the monkeys that are building the Maude-cast museums for us?
We've got names.
Are you Arthur, Alexander, Chimp?
No, I'm Big Boy Monkey. I'm Big Boy Banana. Arthur's busy. He's just up on roof knocking some nails in.
Cool. How's it going?
Oh, it's very good. We put the foundations down.
For all of them?
Well, just for the first one, we're just rebuilding Maude Flanders Internet Museum database number 1, which is your one. Just put the foundations in, and we prepared the construction site, and we've dug out. I mean, there's a lot of us. So for 1,200 monkeys, more than 1,200. Some don't show up, and one lad, he's always late. I'm not saying nothing funny. What I'm saying is we've dug out all foundations and we've put in a bit of rough framing, so we're making good progress.
Good. I'm glad you're. It sounds like it is.
Arthur's back here. Arthur's come down now off the roof, and he's more foreman than me. I'm probably just a second foreman or something. I speak to Arthur.
Okay. Hello. It's come a long way in 36 episodes.
Hello. Hello, is that Nathan?
Hello, is this Arthur?
Yes.
How's the roof?
Oh, it's popped. It's all going okay.
You all sound really sad.
No, not sad. Just, it's a bit windy.
Okay. What did Jeff asked me to give you a call?
Oh, Jeff. Jeff's our boss.
Yeah. Do you know why? Any reason for calling? If anything happened that I need to know about?
No, we got some new nails, Sid.
Good. I'm glad I rang.
Probably should get back to work now.
We need that museum back as quickly as possible.
I think he's on track. Bye.
Bye.
Well, it looks like those lads have got the under wraps.
Yeah, it's like hard at work.
It looks like that with that many people on site, even with that lad that turns up late, they'll probably be finished by summer.
Yes, even if half of them are dead by that time.
Shall we get into some content?
Yes, let's
Trying to
do
give
it.
these good people some context for this content.
Yeah, we're back with Kirk and Luann and the culmination of the dinner party where they split up, and the aftermath of that was Homer and Marge basically split up for a little bit, and now Homer has won Marge back over and they are having a new wedding ceremony.
Nice.
I thought Maude might be there.
And Maude is there, right?
She is.
So, clip one. They are all traipsing out of Homer's house. Homer saying, "Good night, thanks for coming." And Maude's got her purple Vampirella dress on, and she's holding Todd's hand as they leave. So the kids are there after all. We didn't see them other than Lisa last time. The Hibberts have two kids who we don't hear very much about. And nobody, including Maude, says thanks or goodbye to Homer. Kids seem happy. Everyone else seems pretty disgruntled.
Yeah, this is just the aftermath. I was going to include this last time, but we were already doing 6, so I thought I'd save it for now as a refresher. Yeah, everybody looks as sad as Maude did last time now, and it's just because of the atmosphere, which was sort of Marge's fear, how the evening could go. So Marge's fear has been realised. The kids were knocking about. They just weren't in any of the clips we looked at.
Okay.
But yeah, there's not a lot to say, really. It's just sort of the end of that scene.
My only question was, why would Maude be so rude, even though all that bad stuff went down? Homer didn't do it. And I know she's getting in with the mood, the swing of the divorce party, but surely she would, at the very least, have nodded. I say thanks for that slop.
I don't know. I think Ned would definitely, but Maude's less likely to. Ned would be the one who to. Oh, it's strange that he didn't say bye, but Maude's got that cold side to her. She doesn't really care about people, it seems, especially these people.
Pretty much, I think so. All right, moving on. Sharpish then, because really nothing happened. Now, if you didn't join us, you will have missed why they're all steaming out of the house, unhappy, basically. Unless I missed something, it's because Luann and Kirk had a spat, and mostly a Pictionary-based spat. Luann asked for a divorce, and Kirk agreed.
I get that everybody's sad, but everybody is sad as Maude. I still think some people would have been polite here, like the Hibberts. But yeah, everybody just ignores him. But Homer's sort of doing that thing, isn't he, where he doesn't really realise that the evening's gone as bad as it has. He's quite happy. And even Marge has already left in shame from the looks of it as well.
All in all, not a successful dinner party, to be honest.
No, I can't remember seeing Luann leave. You definitely see Kirk, but I don't remember seeing Luann leave.
I don't know. Is she in the clip? Does she go last? Does she sneak out after everyone else is gone?
I think Kirk goes last, so unless she goes first, but I cannot remember.
She doesn't stay behind for some moral support from Marge.
Maybe that's where Marge is. Some blue herd support.
Tough times, isn't it? Tough times for the blue herd ladies. Is that the only dinner party that we've seen either the Flanders or the Simpsons host?
I think the Simpsons might have had a couple more, but maybe not actually. Maybe like book clubs and stuff. But I think this is the only one Ned and Maude go to. The rest of them are like barbecues or parties rather than just a supposedly civilized dinner party. It makes sense that they wouldn't bother trying again after this.
I guess.
In fact, it's likely the next time all of those people are in this house is probably Maude's funeral.
And there's a whole bunch of other ruffians in there. So, yeah. I mean, we're going to get onto this at some point anyway, but the fact is that with the revelations in this most recent, this week's Simpsons episode, just waiting for the chance to bring that up. But the fact is, it really does feel like they regret shooting themselves in the foot by stealing decades worth of neighborly stories, because essentially without the Flanders family holding it down there, they can't really do those dinner parties because they don't really have another another friend group, even though they're not super friendly with the Flanders. It is kind of like they would be the first people they would invite if they were going to have a dinner party.
Yeah, and I kind of touched on this last time that Homer has friends. Homer would do something with a group of friends, and you'd see Marge doing like the book club that Marge hosts or has had, or like baby club or whatever. She will have a couple of friends around like Manjula and Luann and Agnes and stuff, but yeah, they don't as a couple. They don't have many couple friends, and yeah, there's like I'd say it's like a quadrology at this point. Of the last 4 Maude appearances over the last 4 or 5 years have been big. Like this year, we got a real treat this week with the 700th episode and the whole sort of modern Homer buddy comedy thing that we've actually discussed before. Looking at you, Max Stone Graham.
Over there in the bushes, yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of groundbreaking new information about modern Homer. It'll definitely come into play. And I wouldn't normally send you stuff from the new ones because we will get to it in time. But this felt like sort of pivotal Maude information, and it was fantastic. She was great.
Would you say it's the most Maude has appeared and spoken in a single episode?
These 4, the quadrology, are all, I'd say the last 4 appearances she's put in are her biggest appearances.
And this is what I'm saying. It feels like they're realizing just what they could have had having that dynamic of Ned and developing Maude into this kind of like nemesis of Homer who's got a little bit of an edge, and how that they could have had so many more episodes based around that dynamic. But really, the Simpsons became isolated once Ned and Maude went off the scene. I mean, I don't know all the episodes now, and we're going to get to it, but basically they were building to a lot of episodes like the one we're talking about now, and where the families interact more, where they were adopted the kids and so on. That whole avenue, which is huge in sitcoms, the family next door is just absolutely core. That was just dismissed on a whim by a fool, by a person I can only describe as a fool. And I'd like to know exactly who it was who made that decision. Was it Groening? Yeah. Was it Al Jean? Was it Cohen? Who was it?
We'll hold them responsible one day. Yeah, I think there's a weird sort of trajectory with it where, yeah, they killed Maude. Ned was alone for like 12 years, so they couldn't really be too mean to him. It's not particularly, they did shoot themselves in the foot because you can't, it's not that funny if Homer's bullying a widower.
No, a single dude raising 2 kids by himself, and then Homer's, Homer can't really. I mean, they did that trope, that joke where really bad stuff kept happening to Ned, but really, I think opportunity missed. Great big Maude size opportunity missed. Shame on you.
The joke being that Homer just forgets about Maude, but he's not really mean. But then when he married Edna, I think they thought, oh, good, we can start doing these stories again. And then Edna died, so now maybe they got excited to do that kind of story, and now they are sort of stuck with this, like middle ground where if they want to do that story, they have to go back in time and do it, or just have Ned marry a 3rd person. 4th person.
It's a bit desperate, Selma, yeah. It's a bit desperate to have to do a flashback though for the 700th episode, isn't it? It's like we can't think of a story that's good enough to hold the 700th, so we're going to do just a flashback.
Yeah, it feels like it was specifically for us as well. It feels like it was taken directly from Maude's diary.
Thank you, Ian, for hanging around in the bushes and keeping track. We respect, and we know you don't want us to tell too many people that you're out there. We love you, Mr. Max Ton Graham. Don't go changing.
Thanks for everything.
On that, do you think they're going to replace Apu's voice with an AI?
No.
Would that be worse if they did that?
I think so, because then you're not only taking the job off a Indian person, you're just taking the job off a person. So I kind of think, because they've said they're going to do something interesting with it, aren't they, apparently?
Yeah.
I kind of think they've probably just cast the guy who did that documentary about Apu.
That would be interesting, because there's actually not that many well-known Indian male actors there's obviously many, many well-known Indian actors in India, but there's not that many Indian actors well known to Americans, because if they just cast some unknown Indian actor, that's not a big thing. That's not Matt Groening saying, I'm going to do something interesting with this. Oh, I'm just going to hire an Indian actor. Well, that's what we think. That's what we're expecting you to do, because that's why you moved Harry Shearer away from being the voice.
I think it's Azaria. I think they should cast
Is it
somebody.
Azaria? Oh yeah, it's Azaria, isn't it?
Yeah, I think his only option really is to cast somebody much, much whiter.
Yeah. I'm not going to get myself into trouble by suggesting who that might be.
Paltrow.
Exactly. They're gonna pitch down Paltrow's vocals and hope to God she sounds like an Indian man. Clip 2. Marge opens the door. She's shocked. Luann is there. With Wolfcastle? No, it can't be Wolfcastle. Who is it? Milhouse, the Hibbert, Patty and Selma, Abe and Maude's mum are also there in the Simpsons' living room. The Lovejoy, with a very cute Helen. Usually she's very pointed, but she's a little cutie face there. Maude, looking very streepish. And Sly, with a nice orange cardigan and a little brooch at the top, where the top button is. And this kind of wavy line going down her shirt. It's really, all in all, quite a nice outfit. She looks like she's waving possibly through gritted teeth. And this again, once again, going back to what happened in the 700th episode, which will have happened just a few years before this, just makes everything Maude does to Homer. Although, yeah, of course he doesn't say some bad things, but everything she says and does to him now has been recontextualized as just her being really a not very nice person because he did something which is life-saving and life-changing.
It's a full circle moment, really, isn't it? It's like she's annoyed at the fact that he is going to kill her, because now, at this point, with this new information we have, she has no reason to be this awful to him.
She would basically forgive everything he'd done, given the wonderful act he did in episode 700. And Marge, by the way, stood at the door and watched him do it without helping.
Yeah, strange story. I thought Marge was going to be annoyed. Like, the generic thing in that situation was that Marge would overhear that and hear it out of context and be annoyed, but she sort of just walked in and got that Homer was pretending to be Ned to help Maude give birth to Todd.
Because they just didn't have enough time for that. And obviously, if you've not seen episode 700, you should probably pause it and go and watch at least the clips from it, so that you have an idea of what we're basically going to be talking about for the rest of this episode, even though ostensibly this is about a season 8 episode. We're now for the 4th or 5th time bringing up that. And I'm going to bring up a monumental through the looking glass moment. Or would you like to bring it up, Nathan O'Leary, my biological brother?
We have Roswell contact. She posted some hands up on my picture of Maude returning for the 700th episode. So, chipping away at that Roswell ice block.
Entering Area 51, if you will.
But I agree that in this, she does look weirdly smug, or like her face. There's something going on there.
Something. She's got very good posture, gritting her teeth as she smiles. And Homer is in a tuxedo because he's ready to get remarried.
Yay. Is that the whole clip?
That's the whole clip. So Marge opens the door. She sees all the people there. We got streepish Maude, nice orange cardigan and brooch. Homer in a tux, ready to get married. But then we cut the clip.
I do believe that you said Maude's mum.
Ka-ching.
So there's a ka-ching from the past. The back half of this episode is very short clipped compared to the first half, which was very long. Maude was like all over the place. Whereas this, she is sort of dipped into the background again a bit more. She stood alone.
No, this one she's with. This one Ned. It pans across and she stood with Ned, and she's everyone's kind of smiling because I think Marge has just arrived and she doesn't really know what's happening yet. So we get very quick clip. We get a scan of the room. We get a second or so of Maude standing there smiling, but maybe not smiling. It's hard to see what she's going on. She knows what's happening here to some degree. She knows that Marge and Homer are getting remarried. What do you think she thinks of that?
I think she just likes a wedding. So I think she's on board. But I don't know. I think she probably would see it as a good thing if it's Homer they're doing it to have like a fresh start. Like nothing's particularly gone wrong, but Homer's saying this is like, I'm going to be a different kind of husband, so I would like to prove that I'm not Kirk.
Don't you think she would be angered by the fact that they're disrespecting the sanctity of marriage by essentially just playing around with it?
Perhaps, but I think
As a
that would be
Christian.
overruled. I do think she just likes a wedding.
So her integrity is so compromised that basically she would say, well, yeah, of course they're mocking the institution of marriage and mocking the church because they made these promises to each other till death do them part. But whatever. I like a wedding. I like me a wedding. Even this
Precisely.
shoddy living room wedding. Because I don't know if Maude knows that Homer has divorced Marge, because that's the big trick that's coming up in a second. You think she knows that?
No, she could just see this as like a vow renewal, which wouldn't be breaking any rules, I don't think.
No, she'd like that, I think.
Yeah. Her outfit's cool. I think we've seen it a couple of times before. This is sort of her formal outfit. This is her Sunday best, not the lime green number we were treated to in the very early days.
No, that was a travesty, and we didn't even see Maude wearing it. We saw Ned mowing the lawn in it. That was going in the bin as soon as that lawn was finished. But we'll get back to that episode when we do Maude-cast Rebooted. Once we finish all the clips and we start again from the beginning. So join us for that.
2025.
Clip 3. Turns out that Homer has divorced Marge. Can you get a divorce without the other person knowing? I asked myself in my notes. Homer goes on about not wanting a hokey second wedding like those on TV. This one is for real. I want our marriage to be perfect right from the start so we don't end up like Luann and what's his name, Kirk. Marge says, we never will, homie. Maude is stood behind Homer, standing stationary by herself, hands clasped in front of her. She's not talking to anybody. She doesn't have a drink, and she appears to be looking off screen beyond the people. Is she looking at Rod and Todd doing something over there? Anyway, we cut to the back of the room where we see Milhouse, and he's sitting with Kirk, and I thought that was nice that those two chaps were sitting together. We see a classic B or the H shot from Maude. I asked where did Rod and Todd go, because everybody else is in the room except for the children. And Lovejoy is marrying Homer and Marge for the second time, and we end the scene with triumphant horns.
I did notice that she blinks in this, but everybody in that room when Homer, if you look away from Homer while he's talking, everybody sort of looks like that bit at the edge of town in WandaVision where she's not really controlling them properly. I think Bernice and Julius are talking to somebody, and the way the mouths move and stuff is very, it just looks like birds tweeting.
Yeah, what's that called where they do? There's an animation technique where they just do that 4-cell kind of loop, where it just loops that same 4 cells. Like the Hanna-Barbera stuff did it all the time. And they did the corridor thing that they joke around, they run in the corridor. Those kind of cheap-ass animation techniques. But Maude doesn't even get someone to talk to. They're just like, we need somebody in the middle. Let's just have Maude stood there motionless. That's what she does best. No drink, no chat.
No. The Oracle. She's just watching over, maintaining the goodness of the room.
Paying medium attention.
I think she's content.
Do you think she would be content on her own at a party?
Yes. Dependent on the party. I don't think there's anybody here she particularly wants to speak to. I imagine, she's probably seen enough of Helen. Luann's busy with her new boyfriend. I think he's called Pyro. He's like a gladiator-style fighter.
Okay.
So I don't think she's interested in speaking to them. Her best bet would probably be one of the old people, like Margie's mum, but they wouldn't get on very well. And Grandpa's sort of crazy. She would rather be just on her own.
Yeah, I think so. I think she'd be quite happy there, just, enjoying the ambience and really just breathing in all that sweaty Simpson smell.
Exactly. Rat boy. Do
you think the Flanders would ever retie the knot?
I could see them doing the renewal thing, yes, especially if she came back from the dead. They'd have to remarry, wouldn't they? Because he's married 2 other women already.
So the thing is that the Maude's death, spoiler, is probably one of the only big things not to be retconned or changed. I know we did that thing a while back where we were like, 50 ways they could bring back Maude. Could they? Would they? It's weird, isn't it, to have a show that's so ridiculous as Simpsons? We're like, we can't do this, can't make this change. It would be like Roy, bringing in Roy, or suddenly one of the Simpsons kids goes away to college. That's what they did with the Cosby Show, right? They did a spin-off, but you have to do that with real people.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter at this point. They've just set the last 2 episodes, like they had Homer as a teenager in the 90s, and then they had Homer delivering Todd Flanders via a YouTube video, and she died before YouTube was popular. So for them to say, oh, we couldn't do that, that would be stupid, is just bollocks at this point.
It would be wild, wouldn't it, if while we were doing this modcast, Ian somehow persuaded his buddies to bring back. I know for sure from the reaction that you got on the Instagram platform from a certain Miss Roswell, one person will be very happy. And I bet she gets more than $4,000.
Oh, yeah.
Hope so.
At least 4.5.
Clip 4. So the band is playing. Is it Steve Cropper? I remember this, right? Or is it Donald Duck Dunn? It's one of the Booker T and the MGs.
One of the Doobie Brothers.
Is it one of the Doobie Brothers?
He said, do you like the Doobie Brothers? Because we've got one of them.
Yeah, but I'm going to check now who it is because I know those guys played in those bands, right? So who likes the Doobie Brothers? Because we've got one of them. Maybe they don't tell you which of the Doobie Brothers it is.
No, I believe they just say we've got one of them. And then they start playing Spandau Ballet.
They do. They play the song True. Ba, 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 ba. I know this much is true. That's a great song. So they play a loungy version of that. And Maude saunters backwards onto the screen, dancing quite openly and provocatively with her hands on Ned's shoulders.
A sweet moment. This episode, it doesn't feel like the reader, like I think I said last time, pre-bongo, that when Ned and Maude are affectionate, it's to show up another couple. But in this instance, I think it's just a nice, like they wanted to show niceness. There was a point where they were, and they seem to be going back to this now, like there were a couple of nice moments with that Maude Homer stuff in 700, and it's nice to see them dancing again. She's having a nice time, it seems. Everything is nice.
Everything is nice, isn't it? So yeah, it's all cool, it's all good. Even that drama earlier of Luann and Kirk, for the moment, has been allayed, and everything's going well. Until
go ahead. This has got to be like a couple of weeks to a month after that, at least, after the dinner party.
Yeah, you think so?
So everybody's sort of, the dust has settled on that evening, and now we get to see the upside. It's nice that Marge gets this moment of everybody being at the house and having a nice time, at least.
Yeah, finally. Everything seems to be going right until clip 5. Kirk Van Houten blunders onto the band area, grabs the mic and shouts, "I got something I'd like to say." The crowd all kind of mumbles, "Hey, would you guys do a favor for a guy in love?" And he hands a piece of paper to the band leader, who says, "Sure, that's why we're here." And Maude and Ned have continued dancing even though the music stopped and now they're talking. Kirk shouts, "Hi, everybody," and hit it. Kirk is smiling and nodding, and the band launch into a smooth sounds, and we cut to a smiling Maude. She knows what's going to happen. Her hands are on Neddy's shoulders, and she's doubling down on love. They all turn to Luann. She stops. Kirk begins to sing, "Can I borrow a feeling? Could you lend me a jar of love?" What a brilliant song, which you may have already heard at the beginning of this episode. Hope you enjoyed my cover version of that song.
Fantastic.
Kirk goes out to Marge and Homer, and then he passes Maude, and she's smiling now with a cute, soft face. That whatever pain, whatever frustration earlier has subsided, and now she's going with the flow. Maybe she's had a little bit of that cider that we think she likes. Hurting hearts need some healing. Take my hand with your glove of love. He's walking over and he heads over to Luann. We cut. We'll never know.
Intense. I'm going to go back on what I said 2 weeks ago about, I am technically still right. I just forgot the band, but when he starts singing, you can just see Kirk and then like the corner of Maude's hair and the band.
Oh yeah, I was going to call you on that because you made me guess who the only 2 people were that you could see, and that did not transpire in those clips.
No, it did not. But the only two regular Simpsons characters. And then, yeah, he walks past Maude first and she looks politely smiling. She probably thinks this song's garbage. It fits well with the things we were saying about Allied Biscuit and Table Time, that it sounds like a real, like it sounds like he's written this really believing that it's brilliant, and it's just very, I wouldn't say generic, but it's in the theme of generic. There's not a lot of like deepness to it.
I wonder what was on that piece of paper, because they launched into kind of like a nice little intro, which is very similar to the ending thing on The Simpsons. Is that what it goes like? No, right.
Exactly.
Anyway,
it does sound like it's weird that they knew what to play.
Well, those guys are great. You know, have you ever heard those song poem albums? So it's called Song Poems. So in the 60s and 70s, people could send away in magazines. They'd send like a few $100s, and along with like a set of lyrics, and that they like a group of session musicians wherever LA or wherever would get the set of lyrics and the kind of genre that they wanted it to be in. And then they'd essentially improvise a generic song to the pattern of these lyrics. Now, some of the lyrics, they had to do the lyrics as they were sent. So if they were not in the right meter, or if they didn't rhyme, or if they were, they would just have to go with it. So there's some really good ones. There's one called A Convertible and a Headband. A convertible and a headband sets the scene. And I think the album was called Do You Know the Difference Between Big Wood and Brush? Anyway, my point being, these professional musicians were handed probably a set of lyrics with some kind of like hint of what it was, what it should sound like, and some chords. They just set off and they did a grand job, because it's beautiful.
They did. Yeah, this is one of the best Simpsons scenes. It goes on for Kirk to say, "Will you marry me again?" And Luann just says no. And then Luann's new boyfriend makes him leave. The door gets slammed on him and he says, "I'll be back. Probably."
So the big question here is, what is Maude making of all this unfolding in front of her? Because she was expecting more niceness, but surely she wasn't naive enough to think that Luann would turn away from Nitro or whatever his name is.
No, yeah, I think now that the dust has settled, Maude's probably, happy that Luann is free of Kirk. Like, she's probably more supportive of Luann being happy. Maude's super Christian, but I think she would make exceptions if it was people that ultimately, if she likes someone, that's the main goal, I would say, for Maude. So she can have her own little internal judgments. Like, she probably doesn't like that Luann's putting it out there so quickly. But she still likes Luann, so she reserves those judgments. And I think she's just kind of smiling at her politeness, because she probably pities Kirk for I don't think she dislikes Kirk the way she dislikes Homer. She probably just pities Kirk.
She probably doesn't know Kirk that well. I mean, but she'll have seen him around church and known him for several years and things like that. Yeah, maybe she's some pity, but there's judgment in there as well. He brought it on himself with his lack of love, his lack of empathy, his sarcasm, his darkness. Maybe she thinks they deserve each other, those two ruffians. But, also, do you think somewhere deep down when he made a fool of himself and sang this song, do you think somewhere deep down she mocked him and laughed at that?
I don't think so. I think it is all genuine pity. I think there would be because I don't know, she doesn't tend to laugh at people on her own. I think it would be more of that smug, I'm better than you, so I feel sorry for you, so there's nothing to laugh about, sort of high and mighty.
Arrogant, what's the word? Condescending.
And
other words like that.
Patronizing.
Aloof.
Whimsical. That's not right, but
that's not
it's
right.
a good word.
Whimsical is a great word, but whimsy. Maude is not one given to whimsy, unfortunately. Those two monkeys we spoke to earlier, they sounded whimsical.
Yeah, certainly did. Weak and whimsical.
Maude, not so much.
No. But to summarise, overall, it's been a nice detour into Maude and Ned as a couple and how they reflect against the other couples in Springfield. And this deep dive over 2 episodes was worth it, I think, to analyse Maude's feelings on love and marriage.
Yeah, double down on the love. I think Maude, she's happy. She's content with what she's got there. She doesn't ever want that to go away. Well, that's too bad. Too bad. I know. Well, let's not dwell on the many revelations of 700. Let's wait until Maudecast episode 100, probably, when we get to that 700th episode. Who knows, by that point they might have added 20 or 30 more Maude episodes, seeing as they now seem to be bitterly filled with regret at the many, many beautiful episodes that they could have had instead of scraping into, and here's Lady Gaga.
Exactly.
They could have avoided the Gaga travesty, lowest rated episode ever, had they just kept that dynamic.
Yes, if Maude hadn't have died, this show would not have gone the way it did. Marge probably wouldn't have gone to prison 3 or 4 times.
I don't know about that, to be honest. He'd already gone to prison at least once because of Maude. Maybe it forced them not to rely on that lazy ass next door neighbor kind of trope too much.
It did. It just forced them to find other lazy ass ways around it. There is an episode, like season 13 or something, where they're on about something that they've done before, basically, and then Smithers bursts into the room and shouts, "Maggie shot Mr. Burns again."
So at least it's that self-referential nonsense.
They at least have fun with it. Well, for a while they did.
Do you want to wrap that up, or are we done here for today?
I think we're done. I think covered all bases.
Yeah, it was a good long trek. We had some technical issues earlier that the people don't need to know about. But what I want to do now is, before we get a diary and a song, is to go into something that we're calling the Maudestagram. So I went to hashtag Maude Flanders on Instagram, and I do love this, where you get the whole page full of Maude things. And if you go to the top ones, we'll do the recent one this week, but we'll do the top. Actually, I'm glad that maybe we should have gone with the top ones. I'm going to send you the photograph now of the what is the first entry on the Instagram recent Maude pictures. Yes.
Wow.
So all right. So anyway, we're not going with the we're going
ones
with
at the bottom.
I know, geez. It all gets a bit much, really, when you get into the recent ones. But the top ones are classic. They filter out the nonsense. We can't spend more than 30 seconds on any of these. That's the rule, which we might change and break it at any point. But you got to go top. You got to go left to right, top to bottom. You got to give your opinion on it in 30 seconds or less. That's both of our opinions in 30 seconds or less. So here's the top one. It's actually from the same episode. It's the cornstarch thing.
And she's not in it. It looks like it's a video of that scene.
The second one along is a series of pictures from the Psycho episode where Maude spies on Marge.
Yes, I like her just creepy smile in the corner.
Nice. And the third one.
What's the joke?
We're talking about SEX in front of the... And then she used to spell out... Is it a salad? I don't know. Is there a joke I'm missing here in the comments? It says sex cold, and I thought they closed that place down. No
idea.
I'm not sure if the salad thing is a reference. The next one, we have what it seems like a cross stitch of Ned in the shower, but the envelope it was sent in is a line drawing of Maude being hit by multiple t-shirts.
Yes, I like it. The Maude in particular looks like I could have done it. I don't see many images of that being drawn by other people, so that's fun. Yeah, fun cross stitch.
Next.
I don't know who that is, who it's supposed to be, but it's fierce would be the apt word.
It's Maude in a latex catsuit.
With her traditional Maude face. It's cool, and it's in black and white. It's not Maude's style, it's not Maude's stance, but she looks cool.
Latex does, suits her. It's not bad at all. And then next up, we have a Army of Darkness parody with Ned, and it says Evil Ned 2, and Maude is hugging his leg, covered in blood and looking terrified. This is by PB Mahoney Art.
This is the best one on here. I like it. I think I've seen it before, and Maude fits that kind of Evil Dead character, actually, in that she's a busty femme fatale, but sort of not a femme fatale, like a damsel in distress.
BFF or BDD.
Big diddly deal.
Next one, we have Maude on the steps of a church, possibly in Italy, and it's a picture of her with those crucifix cookies.
Yeah, the best thing about this by far is that they've done a shadow. It's
pretty authentic. If she wasn't a cartoon, it would be quite believable.
Yeah, it's good. I don't get the relevance, but I also thought it was Italy. I don't know why, but I got
Just
that.
say Noto Italy. Cartoonize the World is the Instagram people, and it looks like they have taken different characters and painted them, often the Simpsons, but often Disney, painted them into different scenes around the world. They're pretty cool,
Nice.
good. Cartoonize the World. Next up, she's been dead for 11 years, written as if it was a meme.
This image is 10 years old.
The image is 10 years old because, yes, she's been dead for 21 years now, right?
Yes.
Interesting. Next up, a pretty cool line drawing of the same picture with the words forever underneath. This is by someone called Milhouse, spelled Haus, and in the comments it says new tattoo plan.
Nice. I'm on board for that. It's a very good, I like that style of line drawing where you just sort of use smaller lines as shading is cool. And it looks sort of like old fashioned or like banknote style Maude. And
that 50s style, right? Kind of like a little bit of a rock and roll. Next up, we've got this one that's been flying around a little bit. Only Maude can judge me. And Maude is another tattoo, and it's Maude with a kind of like a Virgin Mary style cloak around her, but it's got stars on it, and she's praying. And yes, it says only Maude can judge me.
Yeah, I would go out on a limb and say this is the best Maude tattoo I've seen.
Even better than the glow in the dark ghost one?
I think so. I just like the bold colours, and I like the weird. I'm hoping or assuming the thing that she's wearing might be something relevant to the person who got the tattoo, maybe. Like maybe it was their childhood blanket. But the blanket isn't related to anything that I can think of.
Yeah.
And I do like that they've made her it look like, it's like a cloud, like that person's skin turns into the tattoo rather than it being separated. Like there's like a cloud style thing, like she's emerging from the leg. And it kind of does look like flesh if you look at the red stuff in that context.
Very well done. By the Dollar Rosa Tattoo Company. So well done, Dollar Rosas. Now this next one, the penultimate one, is one we've talked about before in the art. It's the one by that says Uncouth Barbarian is what it says here, but was that his name? Uncouth Barbarian?
No, it was just a normal name, I think.
I don't know. Anyway, it's the really wild one where they're all monsterized and they've got extra tongues and eyes and horns, and the Maude one in particular we've talked about before on one of the episodes is particularly terrifying. With the
Willie and Hibble stand out to me the most here.
The Willie one is terrifying, but if you look at Chalmers, he's also he's full on Cronenberg.
Yeah, they're really good. They
are fantastic, and it's Uncouth Barbarian, but I'm not sure if that was his name. And then finally we have a clip we've talked about already, where it's the Cape Fear one, where Ned is making the giant angel topiary in his garden, and Maude is stood by him. And it's just a loop of a second, and we can forever see Maude with the lemonade, waiting dutifully to serve Ned.
Good posture.
So that was an attempt to branch out in the arts into the Instagram page, and I'm not sure, was that successful or unsuccessful? We'll talk about that later off air. We'll keep our backroom business to ourselves. Now, do we have a more diary to wrap her up?
We do, and here it is.
Dear diary, today I am concerned. I am heavily pregnant with the baby we will call Todd, and it's getting close to Christmas. I can't wear my traditional outfit anymore. I have to wear this turquoise number, but I do seem to wear a lot of turquoise in flashbacks or in my personal history, so that's quite interesting that I did that. Rod's hair is really cute at the minute, and Rod in general at this age that he's at is really cute, so we're spending some quality time together this afternoon while Ned does church stuff, and I'm gonna try knitting to relax myself because all the wind chime stuff's in the garage and I can't be asked to go and get it. I do hope Ned comes back in time because I'm feeling a bit oogly doogly, and I think baby Todd is going to be joining us today, and hopefully everything will go to plan and Ned will deliver the baby at the hospital, and I can smell burning coming from next door, and it's getting all up in my nose, and I think my water's just broke, so I'm going to stop writing. I'll keep you posted. Bye.
And then there's just another page that says,
Todd here, middle name Homer, not happy.
My goodness. So this seems like it relates to something that we've not seen yet on the podcast, but should have, because it happened many years before the stuff we're talking about now, but is never referenced in the actual show itself until very recently. It's almost as if they'd all forgotten about it, and it was never relevant. But so it seems like this was around the birth of Maude's second child, and by all accounts, it did not go smoothly. And she seems very unhappy that her child has the middle name of Homer. But obviously, there must have been a damn good reason for that, and otherwise she would have vetoed it.
And that could lead into a resentment of Homer, actually, that she has to go through life knowing that Todd will always be connected to him. So maybe that's why she, over time, especially the way that Homer treats Todd, maybe that's why she's so bitter towards him.
Maybe she just feels forever that she now owes him a big debt that she can never pay back, and it's hanging over her head and breeds resentment.
Exactly.
Well, all in all, seems like we spoke about episode 700 more than the actual episode, but that's good. That's what the people want. So shall we wrap her up with a song?
Yes.
All right, who's going first?
You.
The traipse out of the house. Heads down, heads down.
No Jeff Apple.
Sleepish, streepish, silly monkeys.
Todd Rodman.
Homer in tux, ready to get remarried.
Yanis Zanekis.
Maude stood behind Homer. No drink, no talking to anyone.
Glove of Love.
Is it Steve Cropper spinning his sacks?
Pyro.
Playing with Ned's shoulders.
Monkey-powered dishwasher.
Purple monkey smiling Kirk.
Edna, not present.
Doubling down on love.
The Luann cast.
Can you share us all a feeling?
Can I lend me a jug of love?
Of love.
Of love.
Of love.
The end.
The end. Well done, everyone. All right. Oh, who's that at the door? I think Jeff's back with his shopping. Hey, boys,
good.
I'm just in time. Bye.
Bye. That was particularly silly.
Well, it's just the voice, right? I was like, how soft can I make that voice? And then he just say, it's God.
Worse
How
and
to make
worse.
the second monkey's voice even softer.
Yes.
I think it'll be essentially barely audible by the time we get to the third or fourth monkey.